This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome back to another podcast episode of Change Your Mindset. I'm your host, Adrian Gomez. One of the most important factors of building wealth is compound interest. As defined by Albert Einstein, it's the eighth wonder of the world. In Albert Einstein's words, quote, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it," end quote. Compounding your money is crucial for building wealth. Whether you're just starting out or looking to optimize your investments, understanding the power of compounding can make a significant difference in your financial journey. So for those of you who do not know what compounding is the process of earning returns on both the initial amount of money you invest, the principal, and the accumulated interest or returns over time. In other words, it's making money on your money. In my personal opinion, I think compounding interest is the great equalizer. Compounding interest doesn't care about your race, gender, or even your age. Compounding interest affects everyone the same. Just basically depends on time. So if you ask any person that's pretty much older than you what they wish they had more of, chances are they would tell you they wish they had more time. And this is where the real magic of compounding lies, in the concept of time. The longer your money remains invested, the more time it has to grow and multiply. Even just a small amount, when invested consistently and left untouched for a long period of time, can grow into a large amount. So I'm going to talk about some practical steps to take advantage of compounding. The first key factor is starting early. The earlier you begin investing, the more time your money has to compound. So if you're young and haven't started yet, you want to start immediately now. Begin now, even if it's a small amount. Time is your most valuable asset when you're compounding. One thing I wish that the school system did was teach you about compounding your money. And I would think it's very important if they would teach you in high school, because usually when you graduate high school, either you get a job, you go in the real world, or you go to college, and that's when you start using money. And if they would have taught you that in high school, a lot of people would not be financially struggling, in my opinion. But like I said, they don't teach you about money, they don't teach you about finances, they don't teach you about anything that's really important in the real world, which is sad and disappointing. But I think if they did teach this, compounding your money in high school, a lot of kids, younger kids, will be well off with their lives and will not be struggling financially like a lot of people are nowadays. And I highly recommend for you that are listening to this podcast, if you know kids are in high school, go over with them how to compound the money and the benefits long term. If you don't know how to explain it, you can share this podcast with them and it'll help them tremendously. And I promise you, in the long term, it will pay off for them because it will be financially set and they will understand how compounding works and how starting early is very crucial. Because like I said, compounding works best when you start early. So compounding interest utilizes momentum. So have you ever wondered at what makes an avalanche so powerful? A force so massive actually starts from a very small place. Before an avalanche can smash trees and break legs, it needed to become a snowball first, and a piece of snow before that. Every great force you see in our world didn't always begin that way. A small piece of snow becomes an avalanche by first becoming a snowball. At first, the amount of force and energy to create a snowball must be great. Snow needs to be continually added with an almost intense effort. But once the snowball is built, then you can roll it down a hill, and it will naturally do the work for you, basically. Until one day, it is an unstoppable force. Your wealth works the exact same way. The work you need to do in the beginning is often very painful and very tiring. But once your wealth snowball is built, then your wealth naturally attracts more wealth. Then the power of compounding interest can work in your favor. Just as a snowball compounds and grows, so can your wealth. So let's discuss the power of regular contributions. Consistently investing a fixed amount at regular intervals can accelerate your compounding gains. It's called dollar cost average, and it can help mitigate the impact of market fluctuations by investing the same amount regularly. You buy more shares when prices are low and fewer shares when prices are high, ultimately lowering your average cost per share. The other crucial aspect to consider is the rate of return. The higher the rate, the faster your money grows. So it's essential to choose investments that offer a suitable balance between risk and reward. Diversification across different asset classes can help minimize risk while still aiming for higher returns. So I'm going to give you a real life example of compounding in action. So suppose you start investing at $500 per month in a retirement account with an average annual return of, let's just say, 8%. After 30 years, you would have contributed a total of $180,000. However, due to the power of compounding, your account balance would have grown to approximately $825,000. That's more than 4 times your initial investment. Now let's consider a longer time frame. Imagine you start investing the same $500 per month at the age of, let's just say, 25 and continue until you're 65, giving you 40 years of compounding. Assuming the same 8% average annual return, your investment of $240,000 over the years will grow to an astounding $2.6 million. This highlights how time and consistent contributions can lead to exponential growth. You also have to stay disciplined and avoid unnecessary withdrawals or casting out investments prematurely. Remember, the longer your money stays invested, the more significant the compounding effect becomes. Resist the temptation to tap into your investment unless it's for a genuine financial need, unless it's emergency, something crazy that you need that money now. Not because you want to buy a new car, you want something fancy, whatever, something like that you don't need. Don't touch that money. Let it keep compounding, otherwise all that work you did is going to backfire on you. You need to keep a long-term perspective on this. The road to wealth is rarely a smooth one, and markets will inevitably experience ups and downs. Don't let short-term fluctuations derail your investment strategy. Stay focused on the long-term growth potential of compounding. Compounding interest separates the rich from, obviously, the poor. When's the last time you saw a high-interest credit card balance move much lower after making a payment? When you get into a high-interest debt, you are now fighting against the inevitable force of compound interest. Why fight uphill when you can instead run down it? While everybody might know that interest is bad, only a few people decide to do something about it. And this is exactly why broke people are broke and rich people are rich. This is I always say, you need to change your mindset. Stop thinking like the poor, like everybody else. Change your mindset and start thinking like the 1% of people, the rich people. Because they're there for a reason and they think differently from everybody else. Nobody makes a real fortune overnight, and nobody goes broke in one night either. The exceptions to the rule regress back to where they should be over time. That's why lottery winners oftentimes end up broke years later, because they don't know how to manage money. It's the habits that you live with which define your wealth. If your spending habits cause you to fight against interest, you're going to fight that fight the rest of your life, and you'll never be rich. However, if your habits create interest for you, then just sit back and relax. You will one day be rich, and you just have to let compounding interest do the work for you. So let's recap the key takeaways about compounding money that I talked about. Number 1, start early and give your money more time to grow. Number 2, make regular contributions to accelerate your compounding gains. Number 3, choose investments that strike a balance between risk and reward. Number 4, be aware of fees and expenses that can erode your returns. Number 5, stay disciplined and avoid premature withdrawals. Number 6, maintain a long-term perspective and weather market fluctuations. So you need to remember this. Compounding money is a powerful tool that can help you achieve your financial goals. By understanding its potential and implementing the right strategies, you can set yourself up for long-term financial success. I know it takes time, and a lot of people want to be rich, want money now, they want to be wealthy now. But in reality, that's not how it works. Yeah, maybe you win the lottery, stuff like that. Maybe you go to a casino and you hit the jackpot. The odds of that happening, it's not going to happen. This is how you build wealth. It takes time. And most people do not understand that. Because we live in a society, we want things now. And that's not how it works. And that mindset of wanting things now is what keeps people poor. You gotta think long term. Think like the rich. Think long term. Because they do. Poor people think short term. Which one will you be? And I talk a lot about how compounding can be good. Compounding can also be bad if you're using it wrong. For example, if you have a credit card and you keep spending money, you keep owing more and more debt. Same thing like what the US is doing right now. We're in trillions of dollars of debt. That keeps on compounding. You see it over and over. First it was millions, billions, now we're in the trillions. That's a bad way of compounding interest. Using it the opposite way that you should be using compound interest. The way you use compound interest, that's totally up to you. You can be like the poor, go into debt, use compound interest on the credit card, owe tons of money, hard to get out of it. Or you can be the opposite. Build wealth over time, slowly, like I discussed. It's up to you. It's always going to be up to you. Which mindset? That's your decision. And if you have kids or plan on having kids in the future, you need to teach them about compound interest. That will build them wealth in the long term, and you can build generational wealth. I can't stress enough how important that is, because nowadays, a lot of kids don't know nothing about money. Teach kids about compounding money, because they will be set for life. And they can, like I said, build wealth for next generations. And if you don't know where to start, I have 2 referral links in the description below on 2 platforms that I personally use myself, where I invest my money every single week for it to compound in the long term. I'm not telling you to use them. Just because I use them doesn't mean you have to. You can use whatever platforms you like. I'm just saying this is what I personally use myself. So one of them is Fundrise. Fundrise is where you invest money. It's basically real estate. You invest money and Fundrise uses the money that's invested from all the people that invested into Fundrise, and they buy complexes, homes, apartments, just like you would do in real life. They do the same thing. And obviously they collect money once projects are paid off, or from families that rent out, they collect the money and obviously distribute it to the people that invested. Obviously that would be you or myself. Anyone who invested into Fundrise, you will get appreciation, and obviously you will get dividends, just exactly like real life real estate. But instead of you doing all the work or go finding homes and all that, Fundrise does that for you. And obviously you pay a small fee, but it's worth it. And if you use the affiliate link for Fundrise, you'll get $50 in shares. And if you decide to use either one of these, I do get a small kickback for you using the link. So the next one is M1 Finance. This one, like I said, I personally use myself as well, but this one I have my Roth IRA. So it's up to you. If you want to invest in the S&P 500 for your retirement, by all means, we will steal over time. S&P 500 does better overall than any other stocks. Or they give you also a pie chart, so you can pick certain percentages of stocks you want to invest into your pie, which makes it a complete 100%. So you can use, say for example, 10 stocks. You can use 10% for each stock you choose, and that'll be 100%. Or you can do whatever percentage you like for whichever stocks you like. And for that affiliate link, if you create an investment account, deposit $100 or $500 for an IRA within 30 calendar days of an account opening, which will be your account, you receive $10 to invest however you choose. Like I said, you don't have to use any of these 2. This is what I use personally myself. There's a lot of platforms that you can use that will compound your money. The message is just start compounding now. Don't wait later on. The earlier you start, the better you will be off. Like I said, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. This is just financial education. Thank you guys as always. I appreciate you guys listening to this podcast. I want to say thank you to Patreon member Blade262. I appreciate you for being a Patreon and supporting this podcast and helping me be able to grow it financially. If you want to be a Patreon member, the link is in the description below. Helps me buy equipment if I can make this podcast better for you guys and also advertise as well. So I appreciate you guys as always. Subscribe and share if you guys can. Thank you for the ones that do. As I always say, change your mindset to change your life. Thank you again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.